Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 23rd through the 29th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Sagittarius, this week we are still coming off of that full moon from last weekend, which was right on the cusp between your 12th house of Scorpio and your 11th house of Libra. So this is about an illumination in regards to your aspirations, future-oriented things, as well as your spiritual self and your spiritual development. And with Saturn in that 12th, where you can continue to take that seriously and really develop yourself spiritually. And it all comes from that acceptance, which then leads to that peace and tranquility. So that's the full moon. So it's a great way of implementing this. If it was maybe aspirations, it may have been more of an understanding about networking or groups or friends, these types of matters. And again, developing and continuously expanding on the implementation of your spiritual self. So that's the lunar cycle with all of this. Mercury did go direct last Sunday in your 5th house. So there's the shift with your self-expression. You guys probably learned quite a bit about your self-expression these past few weeks. So that energy's moving forward this week, which is quite good. Maybe even in regard to relationships and in regard to your career as well, with Mercury ruling both your 7th and your 10th houses. So that's where we're coming from. Now Mars is going to be shifting back into Libra retrograde here around Tuesday, this early part of the week. So there is this shift in terms of where I think now you can continue to reflect on maybe what your aspirations are, where you can maybe cultivate some more networking or connecting with your friends or groups, getting involved in your community, and perhaps finding some new motivations with all this. You know, Mars is showing us where we have where we do have motivations, but we're learning more about that and drives, and this can be a great source of energy here. So this is going to be all the way through June, and I think it's a good area to reflect on, try new things with, whether it's getting involved in a group activity, a course or something like that, whether it's getting involved in your local community, or maybe just learning more about what your aspirations are. What are your long-term values? And cultivating those in a flexible way of trying new things. So that's the Mars shift. Now Tuesday and Wednesday, Mars is going to be opposing up to Venus. So balance is, I think, the name of the game this early part of the week. And this is particularly with the balance of those aspirations, but even your spiritual self. You know, Mars naturally rules your 12th house, opposing up to Venus and the Sun, who've been in the 6th. It's been a lot of energy on your daily activities. Or there is soon to be, especially in a couple of weeks once you have that new moon and onward. But the focus is here. So I think it's great to continuously develop your personal growth, your self-improvement, your work, if that's been the case, your routine, your regimens, and then bring in that dose of presence into it, of acceptance into it, which leads to that peace. And vice versa. I think you can bring in a bit of that discipline and that routine to your spiritual life, which again helps things stay nice and long-term, nice and grounded with that. And maybe even to some of the routine into your aspirations, right? That's the balancing point. And it's really about combining these two. Combining, in this case, the spiritual and aspirations with the everyday activities. So that's the opposition between these two planets. And the perhaps most important thing this week is involving your ruler, Jupiter, squaring up to Saturn. So this has been ongoing since August of last year, and this is about slow and steady growth, especially for those that are ruled by Jupiter, such as Sagittarius and Pisces. So there is this expansion, but things are happening in a slow and steady way. Saturn's making sure that things are done with patience, with discipline, and what you might call maturity in that sense. And this is a Jupiter, your ruler, in the 9th house, so it's still great to be expanding your horizons, trying new things, seeing what's possible with your life, right? Learning more about the life path, what life is about, whether maybe some of you philosophical, spiritual, university, understanding more about wisdom. Maybe some of you sharing wisdom. Broadcasting is also 9th house, connecting with those abroad, maybe. But all in all, I think just having that more expansive view and continuously expanding on what's possible in that slow and steady way is the key with this aspect. Because Saturn makes sure that we're cultivating things for the long term. right? That they're built. And to build things, we have to put in the work, right? And I think it's a good week to challenge yourself with that square. See where you can put in the work, where you can have that healthy amount of self-limitation so that there's long-term enjoyments being built. And again, this could be a cultivation of something since August, if that's been the case, that you have been maybe working hard at or having that more patient approach with for some of you, right? So that's the strongest energy of the week, is that square, especially because it's involving your ruler Jupiter, really embodying those Saturn qualities, I think, of patience is very important. That, again, is working constructively with it so you can build your goals, build your aspirations, and anything else that you consider possible with that 9th house. Maybe even home and family matters, since Jupiter does rule your 4th of Pisces as well. All right, taking that stuff slow. So that's going to be Thursday, and leading up to that is going to be this continuous implementation, I think, of these aspirations. You're learning more about them. It's good to redo them, rethink about groups and friends and networking in your life. Put energy into that as a newfound motivation there. Developing yourself spiritually, which is maybe getting that alone time, maybe getting that meditative time, and learning more about yourself on that deeper level, which can be implemented into what will be and is still this new focus of your work and routine, your regimens, your everyday activities of developing yourself, improvement. Mercury direct in your 5th house. You guys are probably feeling a bit of this easier sense of self-expression this week, or you had this opportunity to really apply and really cultivate maybe some of these interests, hobbies, or just expressing yourself, especially because Mercury is going to be in a grand trine this week with Jupiter, your ruler, and Pluto. All right, so Sagittarius, have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.